Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in here today, giving out my bowl game predictions. This is, I guess, all 46 games. My full predictions. This is against the spread, so it's going to be a little bit challenging, but we're going to go through this and take a look. So we've got the first game. This is the Celebration Bowl. I guess I'll go with SC State, South Carolina State to beat Prairie View A&M. I'm not too sure about that one. Next, we've got the LA Bowl, Boise State taking on Washington. Not expecting many opt-outs, maybe Denzel Boston. Don't think Damon Williams Jr. is going to opt out. Boise State, they had a nice second half of their year. Everyone kind of had written them off without Ashton Jeanty. They come back and they win their conference title. Plus 8.5. I think Washington wins this game. 8.5. I do think Boise State will be able to cover that spread there. Next, we've got Jacksonville State taking on Troy. Troy's a pretty good team. I think Troy wins that game, covering the 3.5. We'll go with it. That's the Veterans Bowl. The Cure Bowl. It is Old Dominion taking on South Florida. It looks like 83% of people are picking South Florida. Old Dominion had a very nice season there, plus 6.5. I'm going to go with South Florida. Louisiana taking on Delaware. Louisiana sitting minus 2.5. Both of these teams 6-6. Delaware makes a bowl coming up from the FCS. Congratulations to them, but I do think Louisiana wins that game. We've got Western Michigan. This is the Myrtle Beach Bowl. Western Michigan taking on Kennesaw State. Kennesaw State at 10-3. They're another team that came up from FCS to FBS, plus 4.5. You've got Western Michigan. I'm going to go with Kennesaw State to cover that game, plus the 4.5. Next, you've got Memphis taking on NC State. So a little bit of a better game here. Memphis 8-4 on the year. NC State at 7-5. NC State is sitting minus 4.5. I think I'm going to go with NC State to cover that 4.5 point spread there. Now we've got the first round of the college football playoff. Alabama taking on Oklahoma. I believe this spread has flipped. Now it's Oklahoma minus 1.5. I'm still going to take Bama. I picked Bama yesterday in my bracket predictions. I'm going to take Bama here to win this game outright. I don't think Oklahoma beats Alabama for the third time in 2 years. Maybe listen, Alabama's a kind of a flawed team, but so is Oklahoma. They both are. And you're talking about a lower scoring, maybe 20-17 type win for Alabama in that one. You've got Miami taking on Texas A&M. A&M is sitting minus 3.5 right now. They're at home. It's probably going to be a close game, but I think A&M wins and covers in that one. You've got Tulane taking on Ole Miss. Ole Miss is sitting minus 16.5. And honestly, it's hard not to pick Ole Miss based on what happened earlier this year. They won by like 40 points against Tulane, or 30 points. I understand the coaching situation with Ole Miss, but I am going to take them to win and cover in that one. James Madison in Oregon. I am going to have to start picking some underdogs because this is getting embarrassing. I think I've picked like all of the favorites against the spread. But I don't know. James Madison sitting plus 20.5. I don't, it's going to be challenging for them to cover this spread. I'm sorry. Like it just is. You're going on the road, you're traveling. 35-7 type game. That's a 28-point victory for Oregon. They cover 38-7, something like that. James Madison, they faced one Power 4 team and they lost by 2 touchdowns. I don't see it with James Madison. I don't think they're going to keep it close. Maybe they do a backdoor cover. I mean, maybe Tulane. I think Tulane has a better chance of covering than James Madison. But there is that. Next, we've got Washington State taking on Utah State. I like Washington State. I think Washington State had a good close to the season. They end up making a bowl. They nearly beat Virginia. Probably should have beaten Virginia. They're plus 2.5. I think they win that game outright against the Utah State team, who is also 6-6. Toledo taking on Louisville. Louisville minus 8.5 point favorites. This is the Boca Raton Bowl. Looks like most people are picking Louisville with the 8.5 point cover. Toledo does have a very good defense. I'm going to go Toledo plus the 8.5. I think they'll keep it close. They'll probably lose. Well, that is a MAC team. I don't know. It's challenging because it's a MAC team, but I am going to go with Toledo to cover that spread. I mean, like let's be honest. I have to start picking some of these underdogs to cover because this is like people are going to be bored out of their minds. I just keep picking the favorites. New Orleans Bowl, Western Kentucky taking on Southern Miss. Southern Miss sitting plus 3.5. Western Kentucky went 8-4. Southern Miss went 7-5. I'm going to go with Southern Miss with a 3.5 point cover. Next, we've got UNLV taking on Ohio. UNLV minus 3.5. Well, maybe there's an opt out or something. We're going to have to worry about the transfer portal, I think, with some of these games as well, with players entering and not playing in their bowl games or trying to preserve themselves to enter the portal so they don't play. I like UNLV. Ohio was a little bit of a disappointment this year. Everyone thought Ohio was going to be the best team in the MAC. Their offense wasn't as good as people originally expected. I think UNLV wins and covers. They finished 10-3 on the year, 3.5 point spread there. California taking on Hawaii. Hawaii had a very nice season. They did. Cal is sitting minus 3.5. They have a young true freshman quarterback. He's a lefty who, and he's committed to coming back to their school, so he's not going to enter the portal. I think Cal has some momentum. They win this game. Kind of a nice little tropical matchup there. It is the Hawaii Bowl, California, Hawaii. So I'll say California wins and covers. Although Hawaii at 8-4, I mean, they're going to be enthused to play that game, but I'm still going to go with Cal to win and cover. The Sports Bowl. Central Michigan taking on Northwestern. This game is Northwestern minus 13.5. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a joke. I'm going to go with Northwestern with the cover. I think they win 24-7. 24-7. New Mexico taking on Minnesota. Minnesota minus 3.5. New Mexico went 9-3. I think New Mexico might, although it seems like PJ Fleck is really good in these kind of weak bowl games, like these obscure bowl games. But I'll go with New Mexico because only 33% of the people are picking New Mexico. They're plus 3.5. I think they can cover that spread. Well, I mean, if they're plus 3.5, they'd have to win outright. I'm going to go with Minnesota. I'm going to go Minnesota minus 3.5. I'm sorry. Next, we've got the First Responders Bowl, Florida International, FIU taking on UTSA. UTSA ended up making a bowl. Wow. At 6-6. I'm going to go FIU with a cover there. UTSA was not very good this season. We've got the Military Bowl, Pittsburgh taking on East Carolina. So Pittsburgh is sitting minus 6.5 in this one. Yeah, Pittsburgh's a solid team. They're both 8-4, but Pittsburgh's a lot better. I think Pittsburgh wins and covers in that one. Pittsburgh's like a fringe top 25 team if you think about it. The Pinstripe Bowl. Oh, Clemson has to go play at Yankee Stadium in the cold. Penn State plus 1.5. I think this line is Penn State now plus 3.5. Yeah, I mean, Clemson kind of had an under the radar finish to their year. Penn State actually did as well to make a bowl. I think Clemson is the better team. If they don't have opt-outs, they are. But Clemson is probably going to have opt-outs. They have a few players, defensive players, that might be first-round picks. So it's like, what do? I'll just still say Clemson. UConn taking on Army. UConn sitting plus 2.5. I think UConn's had a very nice season. UConn sitting at 9-3. I think they win this game. Army, we'll see. They've got the Army-Navy game this week, but it's kind of funny. They still have one more regular season game, but they're already in a bowl. We've got Georgia Tech taking on BYU. So this was supposed to be BYU versus Notre Dame. The Pop-Tarts Bowl. It is really bad for college football. Like, the best bowl outside of the New Year's Six is the Pop-Tarts Bowl. So, but BYU is minus 3.5. I mean, you got to be tempted to pick BYU because they've got to be really galvanized. They're going to play hard. But 3.5, I mean, Georgia Tech's a decent team. I'm going to go BYU wins and covers in that one. You've got Miami of Ohio taking on Fresno State. The Arizona Bowl, Fresno State, you got to go with a cover there. North Texas taking on San Diego State. North Texas is a great offense. San Diego State, only 25% of the people picking the Aztecs plus the 5.5. I'm going to go North Texas. North Texas, they're a fringe top 25 team. They've got an amazing offense in terms of efficiency. They had a rough conference championship game, but I still think they end up winning that one. Virginia taking on Missouri. Missouri sitting minus 7.5. This is like where the SEC thinks they're going to separate themselves by winning all these type of games because Missouri's 8-4, Virginia's 10-3, but Missouri's sitting minus 7.5. Yeah, Virginia is just a fraudulent 10-3 team, but I'm going to go with them with the cover. I think they're going to cover. They're going to cover against Missouri. Missouri's an overrated team themselves. They are. So I think Virginia covers there. You've got LSU taking on Houston. Man, LSU made a bowl at 7-5. Houston minus 3.5. I mean, LSU has supreme talent, but you got to wonder how hard they're going to be playing in this game. I'm going to go Houston with a win. I mean, you could say LSU, they're enthused with the Lane Kiffin hire. They have the talent advantage. I'm going to go LSU plus the 3.5. Georgia Southern taking on App State, the Birmingham Bowl. Georgia Southern minus 3.5. Flip a coin. App State made it at 5-7. They must have very good academics, because that's what it comes down to for those 5-7 teams. 5-7 App State versus Georgia Southern. We got to go Georgia Southern. Coastal Carolina taking on Louisiana Tech. Louisiana Tech 9.5-point favorites. Yeah, we're going to go Louisiana Tech with a cover there. Tennessee taking on Illinois. This is a big one. Big Ten SEC bragging rights. Tennessee is sitting -6.5. I think Illinois gets the cover. I do. I don't know if they'll win. I think they cover. Illinois is a team, you see these feisty lower end Big Ten teams. Well, Illinois was 8-4, but those teams tend to play decent. I mean, we saw it like 5 years ago with Purdue against Tennessee. Was it Purdue against Tennessee or Purdue against somebody else? I don't know. Some other SEC team, and they played well. USC versus TCU. USC sitting 6.5-point favorites. TCU started out hot, finished with 4 losses in the Big 12. Yeah, USC is significant. USC is always involved in games like this, I swear. They are. Like, they always finish like 16th or 15th, and then they play in the Holiday Bowl. This is the Alamo Bowl. Well, they normally never play in the Alamo Bowl, but they always finish like 15th or 16th, and then they play these kind of middle-of-the-pack teams, and then they normally win by a lot. So I'm going to go with USC with a victory, and they cover the 6.5. Iowa taking on Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt -4.5. It's hard not to pick Vanderbilt with the Diego Pavia. This will be his last game in college football. He's not a great NFL prospect, so this is kind of like it for him. Iowa's they're a good coach team, well-coached team. And I mean, I don't know. We'll go with Vanderbilt to win that game and cover. Arizona State taking on Duke. Basically a pick 'em. Arizona State sitting at 8-4. Their starting quarterback in the transfer portal, Sam Leavitt. I do like, Duke. They won the ACC 8-5. It's a real coin flip game. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Duke to win it. Michigan taking on Texas, big matchup here. I don't think there's gonna be too many opt-outs for either team. Michigan is a young team; they need the reps. Texas with Arch Manning coming back next year, he's gonna be playing in this game. Texas sitting -5.5. It's a fun game. It's a fun matchup. I think Texas wins and covers. Nebraska taking on Utah. Nebraska sitting at 7. Wow, this is a massive spread. It's like they had to just throw Nebraska in this game. This is the Las Vegas Bowl. Utah is a really good team. 14.5 is a big number. I think Utah covers it. Nebraska did not finish out the year well. There's rumors that Dylan Raiola is going to enter the portal. We'll have to see. Next, you've got, wow, look at this spread. -0.5. Obviously, that's not the actual spread, but I'm going to be picking Ohio State against either one of these teams. I'm going to be picking Oregon to beat Texas Tech. I'm going to be picking Indiana to beat Alabama. I'm going to be picking Georgia to beat Ole Miss. Next, we've got Rice versus Texas State. Rice is sitting +9.5. Another 5-7 team makes it, because a lot of these teams are declining to go to the bowls. They're going to have to do something with these bowl games. This is some slop. This is some serious slop. We're gonna go with Rice with the cover. Might as well. Navy taking on Cincinnati. I like Cincinnati to cover and win that game. Wake Forest taking on Mississippi State. Wake Forest had a pretty good close to the year, I think. Mississippi State, another 5-7 team. I mean, what are we doing? How many teams are declining invites? Give me Wake Forest to win the game outright. They're 8-4. People are underrating them. Arizona taking on SMU. I mean, a game like this, obviously Mississippi State likely has more overall team talent, and they play in a much tougher conference. That's why they're 5-7, and Wake Forest is 8-4, but it's a 2.5-point spread in favor of Mississippi State, but still. Arizona, SMU. Well, man, Arizona finished the year really strong. Noah Fafita, -1.5. SMU kind of had an under-the-radar decent year. Well, it looked like SMU was going to make their conference title game. And then they lost that last week, I think. They're at 8-4. Yeah, we're going to go Arizona. We're going to go Arizona to win that game. Next, we've got winner of Sugar Bowl versus winner of Cotton. Ohio State plays in the Cotton. So this matchup is Georgia against Ohio State. That's what this matchup is. Ohio State is on the right. Georgia is on the left. Ohio State beats Georgia. That's a 2v3 matchup. Winner of Orange versus winner of Rose. This would be Oregon against Indiana. Oregon's on the left, Indiana's on the right. I think Oregon wins in an upset. This is Oregon on the left, Ohio State on the right. I think Ohio State wins. How many points will be scored in the national championship? I'm going to go with 47. So, guys, those are all my picks for the bowl season. I mean, this is unfortunate. There's at least 3 5-win teams. I think there's maybe 4 5-win teams that made the bowls. Michigan, Texas should be fun to watch. That, like, if you want to know what to watch for, Michigan, Texas is a fun game. Other than that, see how BYU does. Penn State, Clemson is kind of fun. We'll have to see if Clemson has any opt-outs. I'd be interested if Clemson has opt-outs. Yeah, that's about it. There's really not a lot. I mean, but either way, guys, I mean, we have the first round of the playoff. That's all the content we really need, let's be honest. The first round and second round of the playoff, and then they're going to expand the playoff to 16 teams. We already know it's coming. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you like the video down below. Thank you for watching.